happy summer solstice from the
Happy
forest floor.
Summer
Solstice. We announced officially today that we were writing a book on my social media, which is exciting.
Very exciting.
And we're looking for community feedback on our subtitle. So we'll put those in the section below for your feedback. And what were we going to say, Tim?
I can't remember. I have a memory that actually just kind of lets go of things that I don't say immediately.
Our brains are also kind of a little bit mush.
Kind of a little
bit mush. We've been full on writing mode the last 2 days, although we've made space to just sit in this moss.
Yeah, up on a hillside.
Up on a beautiful hillside here with the dogs the last couple of days.
Because we really needed it.
Yes, because we really needed it. So this might not be the most coherent video, but I thought it was worth updating on this solstice. The book writing is going so amazing.
So amazing. Well, it's very using the hand model. This being the high and this being the low, and then to be able to go and stretch and to sustain that, you have to let go of the density. And it's been straight up. It's been up like this, being able to write stuff and excitement and then getting concepts and then concepts within concepts, and to be able to, for me, because I've been accumulating insight and drawing visuals and diagrams relative to my experience with businesses and helping them improve performance, and then helping myself improve performance, and then just navigating life in general. So it's been one of those things I've been doing my whole adult life, and now to actually get it to a stage with a partner who actually is freaking genius, and interfacing with ChatGPT, and then interfacing with just keeping an eyeball on all the variations that we've got going on. I just feel so blessed.
All the moving parts.
The moving parts.
And the letting go, like the pinky is about the letting go, for anybody who's not seen that or knows about our pinky finger theory, but the letting go that's required when you stretch into those highs. What is some of the biggest letting go you've been doing, Tim?
It's interesting because it at this stage in the journey for me, it always comes out of nowhere, and it's always an interesting thing. It's my heart that's just all of a sudden exploding when I start crying, or I'm upset or off on a tangent, and I think I'm learning more and more and more that the Tim who I thought was in charge, who actually can be articulate and think about what's going on and actually talk about that in a little more depth, it's less and less the case. And more, it's my body that's actually running the show, and me having to tune into my body and go, what's that about? Why am I upset? Why am I so happy? Why am I so elated? Why do I need to eat 3 chocolate bars right now? Because I got no energy, or I have an abundance of energy and I haven't I haven't had coffee, I haven't had anything. Where's that all coming from? So it's an exercise in tuning, for me, it's an exercise in tuning inside more and more and more, because I'm getting much more in touch with aspects of my being that are informing, let's go for a walk. I feel like, a glass of water, let's do this. Why am I this way, that, and I'm now observing the whole show as an integrated play. There's a long riff on whatever you asked me in the beginning.
What I asked you, what you were letting go of, some of the things you were letting go of.
Letting go of control, letting go of thinking that I actually know how this book is going to go after years and years and years of playing with the concepts. And I'm recognizing that the more I am willing to surrender and just learn from feedback from you, from the interface with ChatGPT, or even the understanding of terminology and frames of reference in a different way. So I'm having to let go of what I thought I was doing with the idea of starting a book. And it's not linear. It's circular. I keep coming back to it, come back to it. Right, that's what was going on. I didn't really appreciate that. So letting go of a linear straight line. I'm gonna do this, then this, then this, then this, then this. Strategy, structure, plan, whatever we want to put onto the gates, like all kinds of things that I learned. That certainly doesn't work anymore. And that's what I'm learning that I still have
The desire to do linear.
I still have just this inner compass or inner knowledge or whatever it is that I learned and used over so many years that I didn't realize is a default foundation. That surprises me. So coming for a walk or doing something like we're doing right now, just sitting on the moss on the hillside, becomes so important to me that I would have let that go in favor of let's just keep going. Oh my gosh, we got some momentum. Let's get to this chapter and let's actually start with this. This is so cool. Look at how that works to that and that and that, and spinning out in my head. So I'm letting go of all kinds of phenomena that I used to just take for granted in terms of how I navigated the world, which I thought I had already done. But I'm realizing it's just deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's times also the thing that's interesting is I realize that through DNA and the whole birth process, it ends up that we are all carrying imprints, not just from our parents or grandparents or grandparents or grandparents, where we're carrying imprints of beliefs and interpretations and orientations to life from all of those who have been human before us. That is something I'm trying to process and trying to let go of that overwhelming my brain and then helping me shift from my brain to my heart to say, okay, so that's how this works. Let's actually just get on board with this even more so. I think you're much better prepared because you come through, well, just the yoga lens and or the all kinds of different filters that I've not really had that much exposure to. So I'm always so appreciative of your frame of reference and how quickly you move through things.
Thanks, Tim.
Oh, you're welcome, Sarah. What have you found that you're letting go of, Sarah? That surprises you, maybe?
I think that this project, this book, the process of writing this book is like the most exciting, enriching, I'll use the word intoxicating because it's the city of the vocation, the one that's the gene key that sits in my vocation sphere, and it does feel intoxicating. And the old me would have been like feeling the need to like express that excitement by like, I don't know, jumping on the couch or screaming and running around the house, or I don't know. And there's just this, I let go of that version of me, and I'm witnessing this version of me that's just like super calm in that space, and it's just beautiful. It doesn't like overtake my body. I guess maybe that's what I'd feel before, and then there'd be like this big crash. It just feels like this grounded, just like, of course I was gonna get here, of course it's effortless, of course it's beautiful and poetic, and yeah, like you said, moved to tears with the working with AI and having it mirrored back so beautifully our story, because we were working on the prologue, actually from a video we recorded yesterday in this forest, and we just riffed and uploaded the transcripts and put it in, and then it created this beautiful structured prologue that I never would have thought to do, but it's just so artsy and poetic, and one of the segments just moved me to tears in how it just brought back the memories of when we first met and the journey that we went through, and yeah, so it's, I guess, letting go of how I felt I used to have to act out such excitement, or
it's interesting because when you talk I can actually relate to it, because we both have undefined G centers, which it means that we don't have any sense of who we are.
Yeah, through the human design lens.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of other things, but that's you don't have a sense of who I am. So I'm always interested in getting some other take on what we're talking about. So every time you talk about it, I go, wow, yeah, that's a better job. Yeah, that's really cool. And I'll all the time struggle with what it is that's going on, other than, wow, I never expected this kind of phenomena, be it a fantastic breakthrough and or just a crush into the, into the base and into the darkness. And it's, as a team, I seem to recall in writing this, and the feedback, the triangulation from ChatGPT is that I'm interpreted as, I could not have done this by myself. You couldn't have done this by yourself, but together we make somehow a whole that is by definition as per through the lens of human design and also gene keys and also just my life experience and probably your life experience.
It was not necessarily that we make a whole, but that we can together map out the void.
Okay. Well, okay.
We can together map out the void, because the G, for
the void as in the
not
total dark black
human design.
Yeah.
The G center is having an open center. In the G center specifically is not having a fixed identity, having a fixed way of loving, having a fixed way of direction.
Like, okay, right. And everyone else around me my whole life in working with clients in business, I thought they were kind of wired the same way as me. I realized they weren't, but how far off? They can't be that far off.
But also you were living more in your not self, as the human design would call, where you felt like you had to have a fixed direction. And that you had to.
That's what I thought the whole purpose of life was, and that was the purpose of business. And business, like the very first thing I learned as an accountant, or even in business. Okay, where are we going today? We're going that way. We're going over that hill over there. Here's the steps we're going to take. Here's the strategy. Here's the plan. We're going to actually just do it. We're going to tick it off as we go by. You did well, Tim, because you ticked this one, and you're doing really well to continue on that path. Okay, and to find out, that's not how the way it really, literally, it works. And as we go into the 2027, the Sleeping Phoenix, all the energy that informed that way of navigating is not going to be available anymore. What? But I feel that, like, this is what's happening and has been happening. So no one is going to be, we are wired such that we don't know who we are, nor do we have a strong sense of direction. Well, it feels to me like an interpretation of what's happening in 2027 forward, or now forward, is people do not have a sense of direction, because you're not going to be able to sense direction in this new...
In the same way.
It's going to be a totally different way.
Yeah, it's going to be more
to navigate.
In the now, like navigating from the now moment.
Infinitely, all the time, from the now.
And sticking to that plan and staying in that one direction because you made a plan years ago.
Or the day before.
Yeah, or even the day before.
I was talking to my son, and he's just going, yes, you start the day, and what's my plan for today, and let's do that. And that plan fits into the weekly plan and the monthly plan and the yearly plan. And I go, that's not how this is going to work as we go forward. That's profound change. Yeah. Like systems in government, systems in business, systems in science, even the process of reading a book. Because I'm realizing reading a book is linear. You do the first page, you go the first chapter, the second, the third, and the fourth. That's become more and more difficult for people to actually accomplish, because they won't be able to stick with it. Well, geez, what an exciting time to be alive. That's wild. That's so wild. It's such a game changer. So yes, I get all fired up when you say, just ask me a question. That's what gives me all the energy. I go, oh my goodness.
I'm just being kind of aware of what the dogs might be seeing, because they're both very perked up.
Well,
so I think we'll
call it.
Turn this.
Somebody's coming.
Yeah, WeShip now video over and out until next time, and let us know in the comments what subtitle you like the best. Dogs were in fact correct, and there was another dog coming, so we had to move. And we were just talking about how, really to use our language in the book of the dupe, the density under pressure, or being duped, is that, and often we're the ones duping ourselves. A lot of people in society are duping themselves that the world's gone back to normal since COVID.
Yeah, after COVID.
And in reality, it was really just a big marker for things not working the way they used to speak to what Tim was talking about, the change in 2027 and the end of the cross of planning and the move towards the sleeping phoenix, to use the human design language, but to use the Gene Keys language would be, more navigating from the now moment. And
as opposed to setting out a strategy. Like, we're walking on this road, so we're going to actually plan, this is the road, this is our plan, we're going to do from here to here to here to here. We're going to set goals relative to our markers on the plan. And that's the way business has been conducted since I started. And apparently that's been the case for hundreds of years, because you could actually do that for the last 400 years. Mm-hmm. And now apparently, well, what appears to be obvious is that's no longer available. So everybody, I don't care, from doctor to dentist to lawyer to business person to agent to everybody, is going to be introduced to a brand new way that they have to actually navigate. And they've all been taught and had experience and success with using their head relative to a linear path. You just have to actually get really good at sticking with, oh my God, I'm going to stick with my plan.
Yeah, Ra, I heard a quote from Ra, who's the creator of human design, use a really great example or metaphor that you're in a cafe and the cafe is packed with people. So it has a certain vibe and energy. The music's playing, there's lots of people talking, and it's just got a great vibe that you're used to. But then as we get closer to 2027, slowly people start, leaving that cafe. They turn the music off and you're the only one left in the cafe. The vibe's totally different. And it's not to say that it's better or worse. That's not the conversation. Totally it's just so completely 180 degrees different. And
even if it was 180, you actually could do a plan, but it's not. It's non-linear all over the place, and you have to learn to let go of your heads. All the stuff, especially how books are written. Mm-hmm. Books are written linearly. You read them linearly. We've all gone through.
Well, who knows if they're all written linearly? But the idea is we read them.
Well, yeah, the one that's
some of us do, but not all of us.
I have a hard time reading linearly.
Yeah. Well, yes. The point is that this time really calls for us to individuate and understand our own personal navigation and really get to know, who we uniquely are and our unique wiring. Growing up in a world where we've been conditioned to believe that we're, all the same, or this homogenization that has happened in our school systems and just, the way the world works, and starting to really, really, really get to know our unique inner world.
Well, this is what I say, is the
who.
Call to action, start with who.
Yeah.
It used to be where are we going? Why am I doing this? Why is this? Why is that working? Why that used to be the generation, and forever we've been talking about why and going into the why. This is the start with who era.
Yep.
And you are the who, and there's nobody else out there like you. Mm-hmm. You're individuated, and you've actually got to figure that out in a way that actually works for you at a time where schools are not set for that, authorities are not set for that, business is not set for that. Nothing and nobody is really deeply set for that, except a couple like us, couples, like people who actually sense, there's a big change coming in. Whoa, that's going to be significant, changing, transforming society. Mm-hmm. But in the short term, how do you help bridge?
Wait, this is my favorite part of the path right here. It's so pretty.
It is beautiful.
And also my arm is going to fall off.
Oh my goodness, well, we must be finished then.
I'm not used to holding a camera up anymore.
Are you done? Are we done?
Well, unless you had, and I don't want to cut you off.
No, that's good. Well, if you can't hold it up, you got to actually.
Oh, my arm is so tired.
What is that as a metaphor for? The strategy used to be you hold the camera up and I just talk for days.
For some reason, I used to be able to hold the camera up a lot longer than 5 minutes.
All right.
Okay, Flover and out.